All right, this is the second part of section 8.2. What I was saying with the last problem was y is equal to -2 cosecant of 3x was at 2 pi over 3. We didn't need any of this over here because we're stopping at 2 pi over 3. Okay, so let's look at y is equal to 2 cosecant of 4x plus pi minus 1. So we need to take cosecant here and we need to plot the reciprocal, which is sine. So we're going to take what's in the parentheses and we're going to put that between 0 and 2 pi. Then I'm going to subtract pi from each term here. That'll give me negative pi, 4x, and this will be pi. Then I'm going to divide by 4 or multiply by 1 over 4. So this is going to be negative pi over 4, x, and pi over 4. Okay, I need my x values and my y values. So, 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi. Since we're looking at sine, it'll start at 0, and then 1, then 0, -1, and 0. So the first thing I did to these x values was I subtracted pi from each one of them. I get negative pi here. Pi over 2 minus 2 pi over 2. Remember, that's a form of 1. That's going to be pi minus 2 pi, negative pi over 2. So negative pi over 2. This will be 0. 3 pi over 2 minus 2 pi over 2 will be pi over 2. And this will be pi. Next thing I did was multiply times a fourth. So I'll do that times each of these. So I get pi, or negative pi over 4. Let me rewrite that. Negative pi over 4. This will be negative pi over 2 times 4, 8. This will be 0. This will be pi over 4, and this will be, 8, because I have a 2 times 4 there, and this will be pi over 4. Now notice I've got a 2 and a -1 that are outside of the parentheses, so those are going to affect the y values. To figure out, do I multiply by 2 first and then subtract, or subtract first and then multiply? We need to go to PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, so it says that we're going to multiply first and then we're going to subtract. So I need to multiply each one of these by 2 first. So I get 0, 2, 0, -2, 0. And then I'm going to subtract 1 from each one of these. So I get -1. I get 1, -1, -3, and -1. Okay, so this blue graph here is my sine function. So the first order pair is negative pi over 4, 1. -1. Okay, so negative pi over 4, -1 right here. And then I have a negative pi over 8, 1 right here. Then I have 0, -1 right there. And then I have, go back, pi over 8, -3, pi over 8, -3 right here. And then pi over 4, 1. Sorry, that should be -1, which is right here. Okay, so there's my sine function that I'm going to use to build my cosecant. So wherever I have a maximum, that's where I'm going to have an upwards parabola. Wherever I have a minimum, that's where I'm going to have a downward parabola. And then wherever a sine is 0. Now remember, in the first part, I said it doesn't always have to be where the sine function or the cosine function crosses the x-axis when we do transformations. Here's one of the examples where right here and right here, they're not asymptotes. It's actually right here, and right here. Okay, those are the asymptotes. Now notice these points right here. What we did was we moved them down one because of this negative one right here. If we moved them back up, they would be here, here, and here. So they would be crossing the x-axis. But because we shift it down, we shift the entire graph down. Okay, so you could always come back here and say, well, where did I have a 0 before I subtracted the 1? Well, before I subtracted the 1, we were looking at this column right here. So I had a 0 right here. That's at the negative pi over 4. Had a 0 here at 0, and I had a 0 at pi over 4. So 0 at negative pi over 4, which was right here. A 0, or sorry, what I'm saying is sine is 0 at negative pi over 4, and sine is 0 at 0, and sine is also 0 at pi over 4. Okay, so at those locations right here, before you shift up or down, that's how you can find where your asymptotes are. Okay, so this little part right here, this little part right here, and your asymptotes, that makes up your y is equal to 2 cosecant of 4x plus pi minus 4, and that would be your graph.